Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with yours truly, Azarmorph. Just before we get started on this replay, I would like to highlight that next Tuesday there will be no World of Tanks due to family commitments. I've got people from Scotland coming down. Anyway, as you can see, I'm in my Crusader and we are ready to rock and roll, but it's not just about me in this match. We are going to be talking about Kaladin Storm Blessed, who's just ahead of me there. There's my reticule is over him there. In his Cromwell, or her Cromwell, whatever the case may be, the way they ended the match basically made this one, to me, feel like a good replay to share with your good selves. And also, Kaladin was quite courteous in allowing me to make this video, so big shout outs, thank you very much for accepting me to do this video. When I started this match, I realised quite quickly that I was in the lower tier of the tanking pecking order. And in fact, probably the only 3 tanks that could probably do any damage to were at the bottom of the enemy. So I've taken up a spotting position, and I'm predominantly going to sit still and spot. I have a little pot shot up now. And as usual on this map, even though the capping point is on F5, the bulk of the forces are heading up to make or break it in the A0 location. Now I'm sticking down here because I have spotted a Cromwell, I had a pot shot at it, and another vehicle, so I'm just watching out, but I am keeping an eye on what's going on up the top as well, whilst I'm keeping my gun pointed in their general direction, because to be honest, if I went up there I wouldn't last long. Could add something to the firepower. So let's pause the match, and we are going to see how my skills are with doing free view for the first time. Here we go. So excuse me, this is the first time I've used the software, so I'm probably going to be derpy on it. And just see if we can get it up there. It's not as smooth as some, but it's getting the idea. So if we have a quick look at what's going on top of the hill, as we can see, we've got 2 tank destroyers up where the windmill is, and we have the bulk of our forces wrapped around the stone at just the crest of the mountain hill, well, our hill slope. And as you can see, the enemy are pushing up along C0, but seem to have held up on that point. So all going as I would expect it. So let's kick things back off again. And now I'm beginning to get the idea that those other 2 tanks have either disappeared. Either they're going to head to the cap, or they're not. As you can see, Kaladin's down here with me at the moment. We've got a KV-1 and the French S35CA. So I'm looking up there. I know I can't do any damage, but maybe I could track something. Maybe I could do something to add. Now that wasn't me, unfortunately. I've got a feeling that was S35CA that just did the damage to that. And here we go. So I'm looking to track, and my shot goes over. This is far from the best crew I've got in the world, and where I would like to say that damage was all me, you know something, let's be honest, I probably did the last 2 points of damage to that tank. In fact, I did the last 26 points of damage to the tank. If you have a look at the top left hand side there, you will see how I've managed to get that information. So I was just fortunate. And at this point there, we now notice the T-34 and the Cromwell pushing up from the rear. These are the 2 tanks that I spotted earlier. They have sustained some damage, and yes, because of my positioning, I'm now being shot. But here's the interesting thing. Where I initially got shot from was the Rudy. Now, the Rudy is up at B0. Yes, he or she shot me from that far away. Then, basically, the PZ-38 that came across the water carried on spotting me and had a couple of shots themselves, but they've vanished for the moment. So, all I'm worried about now is that Cromwell and the other tank. Well, we've taken a few tanks out. We're pretty balanced at the moment, but as you can see, that's beginning to not last. Now, obviously, Kaladin's had the same thought as me. He or she's pulled back to defend. Well, the artillery's gone, and there's the PZ. But he's pulled back. Kaladin's pulled back to defend that position from the other 2 tanks. I've spotted the PZ. I'm laying some damage in. I'm trying to go for causing some more damage compared to the loss in my 8 points, because it's a kind of a trade-off. I knew I wasn't going to last. I've actually lasted longer than I thought I would, just because I was keeping my eyes open for spotting. Not much left. There's the PZ again, so it's time to start laying into that, causing him as much damage as I can to equal the damage that I've received. Bit of a showing there, missed that. And there we go. Taken out. Taken out. It was to be expected. What can I say? What can I say? But again, happy it lasted longer. So now we are in a position where we're 4 tanks to 6 on the enemy side. And at this point, I am beginning to wonder, what's my options, what am I going to do? But as you can see from the battlefield, our 2 tank destroyers are positioned, one in behind the church, which is the AT2. The French one a little bit further forward, and the KV1's going up to go on the hill. There's the AT2, and here's the KV1. So what I'll do is I'm going to call up the screen. There we go. And as you can see, the enemy have 2 Cromwells, 1 Rudy, 1 M4, 1 Bishop, who's having a field day, and a PZ38. And as I say, on our side, the KV1, the Cromwell, the AT2, and the French tank destroyer is all we've got left on our side. Things are about to get a little bit worse, because we know that the Rudy was able to shoot up at top. The Cromwell, where the Cromwells are. One of them must be in the cap zone with the PZ3, because there's 2. No, there's 1 in the cap zone. And there's the PZ now, so it must be a Cromwell. But the PZ's doing spotting for his teammates. There's the Rudy, and it's coming down on the AT2 as we speak. But Kaladin gets a kill in there, his 2nd kill of the game, and Baron Andres has spotted the threat up there with the Rudy, and so also has our French tank destroyer and the AT2. So their 2 are dealing with the Ruby up the top. Down the bottom, okay, the KV1 is moving along, but what we're going to do is we're going to keep a focus on the tank destroyers from this position, and there we go, the Rudy's taking a bit of a pounding. And we found the Cromwell and the M4. Yeah, we've just lost the French tank destroyer, but they've just lost their M4. So now we're at 4 to 3, although my hopes for the AT2 ain't the great. And here comes the Cromwell, one of the 2 Cromwells. We don't know where they're on, and there's the 2nd Cromwell. So this, oh, he's been rammed. And that was a nice little wheel spin there from the other Cromwell, and that's our KV1 done. But he has taken one of the other Cromwells out of the match. As you can see, the Rudy is now being faced off by Kaladin, and he's also being faced off by the AT2. So we can but hope. That good. Yeah. Okay. There's a trade. We've lost the A2 for the Rudy. That leaves 1 Cromwell, which is one Cromwell, which is Fearless AP, and that also leaves the Bishop, who is having a romping game. And now we'll move over to Kaladin Stormbless. Now Kaladin knows where the other Cromwell is, because it was fighting the KV1 in the cap zone. So Kaladin makes a decision to go hunting the artillery, and I'm going to speed this up because Kaladin will now go and explore all the usual places that we would expect to see artillery in the opposition's side of the battlefield, so basically just down row 0. Now I was in 2 minds to stay to watch the battle, but I'm glad I did stay and watch the battle, because Kaladin shows me, and hopefully through the use of this video, how best to play this tank. I don't stay in one spot to do your work. Move around, use that speed. So now Kaladin has not seen the artillery, so it makes the right decision. Starts to head in, slowly but surely, into the cap circle to see what they can see. Basically, Kaladin parks himself in the bush and looks out for what I would have put money on is artillery, because that's normally where artillery would go at this point in the battle. You know, pile in whilst the other tanks would zoom around looking for the enemy, because they are outnumbering 2 to 1. But it's not. It's the Cromwell that's in the cap circle. So Kaladin pots a shot in, and then doesn't hang around, but moves off to see what else Kaladin can spot. So risking it by pushing in, because again still doesn't know where the artillery is. So the artillery could appear at any time and do a shotgun on Kaladin, or alternatively Kaladin could be spotted and then in comes the game anti-camping mechanic, which obviously Kaladin is definitely camping, so the artillery will definitely one-shot. Kaladin moves over to this side of the map, quite a distance from Cap, and to my surprise actually does see the enemy, so must have binoculars on, I'm assuming. Fires off a shot, misses. The Cromwell on the opposition side doesn't know where the shots are coming because the shots just come from the left, now it's coming from the front. And yet Kaladin again is on the move. Again speeding this up to calm down the time. As you can see now, the clock is ticking, we're at 1.5 minutes. But Kaladin's doing the right thing, not letting the clock dictate their game speed. Basically allowing their game speed to dictate what's happening. So another good shot in there, reducing the Cromwell down to 21% and then moving off again. Because again, I'm presuming that Kaladin's concerned about the artillery. There are 2 tanks out there and it just needs to be basically one coming from one side, one coming from the other, and that would be it. And again, moving off to where the artillery would have been on our side. In fact, there's some wreckage there, and we will see the wreckage of our grill in a couple of seconds. But looking for the bishop and seeing if they've moved to our side of the map into our artillery position as a kind of countermeasure. And there's the grill, as expected, it's in pieces. And again, Kaladin moves forward, sits, makes sure he's good use of the bushes, and sits waiting to see if the Cromwell will pop up, and another shot in. So now the Cromwell's beginning to wonder, what the hell am I doing? And there's the artillery. Now, Kaladin knows where both the enemy players are. Most people I would see in this position, including myself, would now begin to think about going for the artillery, but that's not what Kaladin does. He loses sight of the Cromwell, and I've said he or she has lost sight of the Cromwell, pulls back knowing exactly where the artillery is, but doesn't want to give up the advantage of pulling back and being lost again. They know where Kaladin is, or that's the presumption, is they know where Kaladin is. So again, pulling away from the battle, now that they've both stepped out of the cap. Kaladin doesn't know exactly where they are now, he knows approximation, but they definitely don't know where he is. And if that was me, I'd lose a track, but Kaladin doesn't. So, yeah. But definitely, if that was me, I'd have both tracks off with that kind of leap. So again, Kaladin's approaching again and looking for the enemy to make a mistake. Looking to see if they're going to push on Kaladin, because the clock is now ticking. We're at 1 minute 31 seconds left in the game, and this could end up being a draw. But what are the enemy going to do? That's the crux of it. And there's the Cromwell down to 1%, and there's the artillery. So at this point, Kaladin knows, been spotted. I've been spotted. And doesn't move. Still goes for the Cromwell. The artillery's lining up, and straight in the front of the tank, and takes Kaladin from full health down to 37%. But he did the trade-off and got the Cromwell. A ricochet off artillery. Can you believe it? And the artillery first shot, and Kaladin wins the match for us on a 35% chance of win. So let's have a look at the stats. We're not really going to talk about mine in any great detail. I did get a third, I did get 704 experience, and I did get over 10,000 in silver. Not too bad for what was predominantly a spotting exercise for me. But let's go into the team score. Kaladin did get second place after Techno Shadow, who got the most damage. Still not bad. Second place, 5 kills, and also the Defender Award, 825 experience. There's the Defender Award. Shots fired 29, direct hits 15, 12 of those penetrations, total damage 1169, of which damage is 563 from distance, and the rest are all there to see on the stats. What I'd like to do here is finish off the episode by saying thank you very much to Kaladin for allowing me to record this episode and show their good work. Also, I'd like to say if you could leave a like to the channel, that really would help keep me motivated to make these. And last but not least, I would like to say, boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, alien and other life forms, until next time, do stay safe. And again, just a quick reminder, no episode next Tuesday due to family commitments. Take care, folks.